Puccini wrote them, and he performed them. That's what he's supposed to do. He didn't make them extra special. Jiminy Christmas. Well, John, in this episode of
Classical Rebellion, have you got something on your mind?
I think Polemico is going to make his first
Not Politico?
appearance. No, not Politico.
Oh,
Polemico. Polemico is, he might show up. Polemico is a character who used to show up in the halls of San Diego Opera in between acts. And Polemico would argue vehemently about the virtues of Verdi versus Wagner. Mm-hmm. Polemico would smash everything in his way with large gestures and a loud tone.
I see.
The substance of the argument often not good,
right?
But the delivery
very
over the top.
Yes. And convincing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe if I just say he's right, he'll go away.
Something's eating at you. You've got something on your mind.
Yeah.
Well, I see. If you've got something on your chest besides your chin, I think you better get it off.
Besides our shield and spear. What's on my mind? What's on my chest? I think I touched heavily upon my heart.
I touched on this in the last episode. It gets to the root of criticism, does it not? I had a feeling.
You only critique what you love. Now, Cello Badake said the only people who know less about music than conductors is the media. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
However, I am done with the current state of opera.
You're fed up.
Yeah, the straw that broke. Well, it didn't break my back, but
there's a camel somewhere that's going around in two pieces.
The prod that hit me in the ass, finally hard enough, was a review in the New York Times of the Metropolitan Opera's production of Turandot. Mm-hmm. And this review didn't tell me one thing about any of the singers, really.
Fundamentally,
no. Steely tone, reedy tone,
ardent
tone, plush. What else?
Well, one of the greatest singers of the last generation wasn't mentioned. It was mentioned
true.
By name, but nothing to do with his performance.
But what was mentioned was the conductor at length. And I'm sorry, I do not care who was conducting or what they did to delve into the secrets of the orchestration that Puccini produced. First of all, you said he delved into the secrets, but you didn't tell me what secrets were revealed. There are apparently secrets in the score.
That's what it said.
That only Yannick Nézet-Séguin knows, but he's delving into them, but he's not ready to share them with us yet.
That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But isn't that the guy that had something to say about the registers of the soprano voice?
Yes, the soprano voice. The chest voice is the weak register. Now, we're not just putting words in his mouth.
Really?
You can go online and watch the Juilliard masterclasses with Yannick Nézet-Séguin and make up your own mind whether or not he said the soprano register is the weak register.
The chest register.
For the soprano voice, the chest register is the weak register.
Is the weak register.
And I'm here to tell you that the chest register is referred to in the musical theater world as belting.
Well,
do you call the weak register belting? No, you do not.
Well, if you've got any singer who's supposed to be singing at the top level, mm-hmm. and one of their registers is weak,
they shouldn't be singing
at the top level because they've got a massive hole in their voice.
Yeah.
You don't simply disappear.
And so what he did in that master class,
which is notably refuted on the This Is Opera.
There's a wonderful video on that.
Look at it.
What he did was announce to the world he doesn't know the basic fundamentals of the voice. There's a chest register, there's a head register, there's a passaggio where they meet. Yes. The chest register is the stronger register, though. You don't crack in your chest register.
Well, you don't disappear in your chest register either. It shouldn't
if it's underdeveloped.
It shouldn't just like as you go down the scale. You don't just disappear. And as that video makes clear, did Callas disappear in her lower register? No.
Obastrova.
Did she disappear?
She crescendoed in that register.
No.
Yeah.
No great soprano you can name disappears in their lower register.
None at all. Even Frenny, a very light lyric voice.
That's a fundamental. There's a fundamental sort of holistic technical aspect that has to be elaborated on relative to that, is that all of your registers have to support the other registers as you go up the frequency scale, because it really isn't going up and down, it's going shorter and longer frequencies. As you go up the frequency scale, you have to still keep your singing rooted.
Right.
One register proceeds from the next.
Yes. So what happens is, as you sing higher notes, the chest register stays where it belongs, and you add the head register on top of that. And then it sounds really, really good and exciting. And then you have all these options of maybe doing a diminuendo. It's called a messa di voce. Then you have the option to maybe pour on extra head voice, which sounds like the vibrato is just like speeding up so that the height of the waves is getting taller. It's getting more intense, not wider.
So did Mr.
Taller.
Did Mr. Tomasini's review touch on any of these technical aspects as manifested in the singers' voices?
I don't know anything about their registration. I don't know anything about their negotiation of the passaggio. I don't know anything about their messa di voce. I don't know anything about their legato. I don't know anything about their phrasing. All I know is plush, steely, and reedy.
And I read it too, so I don't know any of those things either.
But paragraph after paragraph dedicated to the Nézet-Séguin, bringing out the impressionistic tartness of these chords and the dissonance. The chords at the beginning of Turandot are the chords at the beginning of Turandot. Yannick Nézet-Séguin doesn't make them more dissonant. Period. They're what they are. Puccini wrote them and he performed them. That's what he's supposed to do. He didn't make them extra special. Jiminy Christmas. The New York Times, you keep asking me to subscribe to read your articles. Why would I subscribe to a publication that can't tell me anything about an opera? All you've told me is something about a conductor who isn't even seen by the audience. And you told me nothing about the singers. And you wonder why opera struggles, because not even a leading publication can tell me one thing about the quality of the singers at the Met. You mentioned James Morris was in it. You didn't say whether or not he sang well. So I'm going to infer he did not sing well. You did not mention Nessun Dorma by the tenor. So I'm going to infer he did not sing that well. You mentioned Liu a ton. Liu is Liu. Liu always steals the show at the end of Turandot. Every single time. And guess what? Liu's always sung by a tier 3 or 4 soprano, because a top tier soprano ain't singing Liu.
It's not
ever.
It's not a vehicle for a major singer.
No, Tebaldi did not sing Liu, except maybe when she was like 22 years old, maybe. No. Why would Leontyne Price sing Liu? No. It's like now they sing Liu's arias in concert because they're phenomenal music.
Yeah, but concert as we've discussed, concert performance and
none of them performed,
careers in the opera house are two entirely different things.
None of them performed What's Her Name and Johnny Schicchi either, but they all sang O Mio Bambino Caro. For sure, but they, unless they're doing the Tritico. If they're doing all three,
a pop's opera concert. An opera pop's concert is one thing. A career in the opera house is another.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guarantee it, Tebaldi's agent would not have let her sing.
I am fed up with opera companies, the opera critics. I can't even say he's an opera critic at this point because he didn't tell me one thing about it.
That's not the only problem with the review. No. I mean, the review also goes on to talk about how he's making a case that Puccini is trying, Negan Scorzani or whatever his name is, I don't even care.
Nézet-Séguin.
He says he's trying to make a case for Turandot being as contemporary as any piece being then written. Do you not know the difference between the word contemporary and modernistic? Because it sure as hell ain't as modernistic as Wozzeck. But it's every bit as contemporary as Wozzeck. They were written at the same time.
Right. And of the two, one is performed.
Wozzeck one is not, because they're going to do it later in the year.
Interestingly, Yannick Nézet-Séguin is conducting that Wozzeck. So that's kind of I like that because they're kind of contemporaneous operas, but very different styles.
Yeah, one is modernistic and one
Yeah.
is lushly post-romantic.
Yeah, so that I find interesting.
Or arch-romantic,
Yeah.
really.
But I don't.
the article itself is just poorly written, and this is what I'm talking about. I mean, this is the quality of reviewer. What would Olin Downs say?
I don't know.
What would Deems Taylor say? What would any competent reviewer for a major? What would Martin Bernheimer say?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And here's what we figured out, thinking about when the Met was really the Met. What has made the Met is the great singers that have been on the stage at the Met. Not the artistic vision of Gustav Mahler, not the artistic vision of Arturo Toscanini, and not the artistic vision of James Levine. It was the singers they conducted. It was not the artistic vision of a music director. And those are three pretty fabulous music directors. But in between, you had a whole bunch of...
Well, not only in between, but even at the same time, they didn't conduct every performance. The people like Wilfrid Pelletier, you know, and Arthur Bodansky, were conducting there all the time. And if you look at the historical issues of recordings from the Metropolitan, you see Pelletier and Bodansky come up more often than anybody else.
Not household names.
Toscanini, but
who were they conducting?
Too much at the
Met.
Met.
Who were they conducting?
Well, nobody. I mean,
Toscanini ran Mahler out of the Met, so
But here's another thing. Caruso didn't only sing when Mahler conducted.
Right.
Other people got to conduct him as well. You know why? Because it didn't fundamentally really matter.
It didn't matter. No. So who were these other two gentlemen? Who were those? What singers were they conducting?
Oh, I'm assuming people like Lawrence Tibbett and Leonard Warren and Dorothy Kirsten and Helen Traubel and
Birgit
Nilsson and
Franco
Kirsten
Corelli.
Flagstad. Yeah. I think Pelletier was conducting Flagstad on tour at the with
Tucker.
Rheingold.
Yeah. Richard Tucker.
Tucker and
Merrill.
Tucker, Tibaldi, Warren, Merrill. You name it. They all
But those are all great singers. So
exactly.
Yeah. There's a Trovatore from
and
the 60s.
I guarantee you, whoever is conducting is going to follow Robert Merrill or Renato Tibaldi, not the other way around.
Yes, exactly. Because those are great. We need great singers.
A conductor in the opera house's job is to coordinate what goes on between the pit and the stage, not to shove it around. You do that, the whole thing is going to fall apart. You lead gently, and you accomplish what you can in rehearsal, but lead gently when you get to the opera house, and don't deviate from what you rehearsed, because otherwise,
that's bad.
It's gonna be a major disaster.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Nisus again is a great collaborator. That's what I've heard about him. I'm sure he talked about all kinds of character things with these people. And warn the tour not to sing your chest notes loud, because the composer wrote chest notes for you, low notes, so you can't sing those loud, because the composer knew your chest register is weak, and so wants you to be vulnerable.
That's why he wrote you those notes, so that you can't sing them.
Yeah. So you can be.
If he writes a P underneath it for piano, which means soft, well, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't,
that's another.
The fact that your register is supposedly weak doesn't count for diddly squat.
If he doesn't, there's still 4,000 seats at the Met.
Yeah.
And everyone paid to be there, except for the critics. Oh, and the other thing, the chorus sounded superb. What does that mean?
Superb.
As compared to what? As compared to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir?
Is superb a vocal quality?
I guess so.
Superb. That tells me how much point they had in the voice, or how unified their tone was, or how much they shimmered. It's superb.
Look, the chorus has as much singing has more singing than Liu.
Oh, it's a major role.
And more singer than Timur, and about as much singing. It's the third principle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a major role in the opera. That's why Turandot's so satisfying to do.
It is. And the range of dynamic that they have to sing in, clearly marked by Puccini.
Puccini marked everything.
Yes. It starts with that when they're like, the moon's rising. Hey, Putin pal, the moon's rising. Let's get those heads being chapped. But they're transfixed by the moon rising.
Oh, and that was another one. Is when the Mandarin came out and the slicing chords at the beginning, which seemed to hint at the deeper secrets of.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah. Which secrets?
Which secrets that...
Which secrets? I mean, what was it hinting at?
The secrets... I'm trying to think of something even funnier and pithy to say, and I can't think of any secret.
The only thing that I can come up with is a cliched reference to the Limehouse East End of London. You know, it's like little Chinatown. It's like the mysterious East End. Is that Turandot set in Limehouse in London? Wow, that would be fantastic.
I guess.
Mysterious East.
And, you know, he mentioned the riveting La Traviata that Nisus again conducted last year at the Met. We happen to know someone who went to one of those performances with Juan Diego Flores as Alfredo, and our compatriot said he could not hear Juan Diego Flores sing except for some of the high notes. And so why are we bringing this up? Because this critic talked about the compelling performances of La Traviata conducted by Yannick Nisus again, and we know there was a singer that couldn't be heard, so how's that a great performance? Yeah. So we've gone definitely scorched earth on this one.
Well, I mean, there's some earth that needs to be scorched because we are entering a stone age of opera, operatic criticism, and that needs to stop. It needs to be ratcheted up, and we can do better, and people should do better, and especially from the New York Times, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So what really got to me with that is I see the rise of the director as the headliner of an opera. And then now we've got the conductor as like, that's the next great thing.
Well, they still can't get over talking about Franco Zeffirelli's set.
Yeah.
Franco Zeffirelli's set, which has never been seen anywhere but the Metropolitan because nobody's stage is deep enough to house it, so it can't travel. And Zeffirelli's dead, and that era of stage production is over. Yeah. You're the only house that can do that.
Yeah. And fine, do that, but that's not a selling point.
Do something else, because deep stage productions are bad for the voice. They're bad for the audience.
That's true.
You know, the cinematic era is over.
Yeah, let it be over.
Let's get back to straight ahead opera.
Yeah, opera is not movies, and opera is not great theater. If you take the music and then the singing away from opera.
Well, it's not conventional theater. It's not conventional drama. It is stylized. And that's not a dirty word.
Right. So I was in
a production. What it's not is musical theater.
I was in a production of an opera called Murder in the Cathedral. Actually, it was in Italian.
Assassino nella Cattedrale.
There you go. And it's...
by Pizzetti.
There's a couple operatic moments in that, but I loved being in that production because Ferruccio Furlanetto was singing the lead role.
Yeah, of Thomas Becket.
And his voice, the experience of his voice brought the level of the music up with it.
It's a less than astonishing opera.
If you have great singers, you don't even have to have great music. So here's the hierarchy of opera. And you can disagree with me if you want,
but
you're wrong. And it is singer, music, staging. That's it.
Classical Rebellion.